Hi everyone, my name is Leora and welcome back to my channel. Today's episode is a very fun book tag called the Twisted Sisters book tag, and it is based on the TV show Grey's Anatomy. About 2 weeks ago, Chelsea from Books and Goatees posted a video called the Tiger King book tag, and it was hilariously funny. It is such a fun book tag. The prompts for that book tag is just when you've seen the TV show and you then watch her book tag video, it is so funny because the tags that she came up with, or the prompts that she came up with, just fit the show so well. And just connecting it with books, I love that video. I absolutely loved it. So I sent it to Sandra and I said, did you see this book tag? It is hilarious. And she said no, she didn't, because she didn't know if it contained any spoilers to the show, which it didn't. And she said, but why don't we just do our own book tag, because we both love Grey's Anatomy and we're currently watching the most recent season together. I say together in a social distancing way, like, are you watching? Did you see that? What do you think of that? So that's how we're watching it together. So she said, why don't we just do a Twisted Sisters book tag, because our relationship and our friendship has evolved in the last couple of months, where we have the same sense of humor, and we don't necessarily love the same books, but we love talking about books and we love Grey's Anatomy. So this was the perfect book tag for us. So this is a Twisted Sisters book tag, and we chose 11 prompts. We did try to keep the we tried to keep the list short, but these were the 11 that we chose and we didn't want to take any of them away. The very first tag or prompt is the Meredith Grey tag, and this is an author just keeps getting it right over and over and over. So in this video, I'm going to include both our choices, because some of them are the same and some of them are different. And just for those that are the same, we didn't see each other's list before we sent it to each other. So I made my list and she made her list. And then we sent each other the list and we're like, oh my word, there's so many of the same books on here. That's awesome. So she said that for her, it's Sarah J. Maas, because it's Sarah J. Maas, come on. And for me, I thought about it and I thought Stephen King is one of those authors that just keeps getting it right. I mean, I read Stephen King, I'm going to give away my age here, but 20 years ago, I started reading Stephen King. So I haven't read anything from him in the last couple of years, because most of his books were books that I read through my teenage years. It was the horror, the thriller, those really intense books. And I think I've just grown out of that genre. In the recent years, I haven't read any of his books. But his favorite book for me is The Green Mile. I read the books before I watched the movie, and that's actually one of the movies that I think did the books justice, because the book, because it was a series, I read the short series that made up the whole Green Mile. It was brilliant, and they portrayed the movie really well. And now I'm talking about a movie of a book, and the tag is about the author. Okay, so the two authors is Sarah J. Maas and Stephen King for the Meredith Grey tag. The second tag is a fun one. It is the Alex Karev tag, and we call it the Evil Spawn tag. So it is a book or a book series that everyone loves to hate, or hate to love. And this is one of those where we didn't see each other's choice, but we both decided that Twilight is that. So yes, so it's Twilight, and we both agree that this was such a popular series way back when, and people either still loved it or hated. And still today, this is a book this is a series that people will tell you that they will love forever. So this is a very much a love to hate, hate to love kind of series. The next tag is George OMalley, aka 007, and this is a side character that you ended up loving more than the actual main character. Again, we didn't see our answers, but we both agreed that it is Ansel from Serpent and Dove. Now, Ansel is a side character. He's quite young. He's one of the witch hunters, and Reed is his mentor. Reed teaches him everything that he knows about hunting witches, and he sort of is like there's an older brother, younger brother relationship. You absolutely adore him because he is just absolutely adorable, and he's sort of the younger brother that we always wanted. He's also very sharp in the book. He's witty, and you just cannot help to love him. The next tag is the McDreamy / House of Candles tag. It is that pick me, choose me, love me book that you just recommend over and over and over. And if anyone asks for the book recommendation, that's the very first one you go to. So for Sandra, this was A Court of Mist and Fury. She says this is her go-to book when everyone asks for a recommendation. She just absolutely loved this book, and I cannot disagree with her. I did have another choice. My choice for this tag is a book by John Boyne called The Heart's Invisible Furies. I read this book about 2 years ago, and it is a historical fiction novel. This book absolutely climbed into my heart and will stay there forever. It's a brilliant book, and I will highly recommend that book. The next tag is Denny's LVAD Wire. Now, if you've seen the show, this is just one of those episodes that if your heart is not already broken, then it will shatter you to pieces. So for Denny's LVAD Wire book tag, it is a book that absolutely broke your heart, that made you cry. And Sandra chose Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's a historical contemporary novel. I also read it, and it is an amazing book and definitely a very recommendable book. I chose The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. Now I've got the alternative cover. There is like an orangey cover to this book. Again, I loved this book just as much as Evelyn Hugo, or The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and it broke my heart. It made me cry, and both books have got very relatable characters, and the stories are relatable. So yes, I absolutely love both books for this tag. The next tag is the Christina Jolted at the Altar / Mama Burke Took My Eyebrows. It is a book that disappointed you. Sandra said for her it was Wayward Son. She says that it's not an intense book, it's not a serious book, so you don't have high expectations when you go into the book. It's supposed to be a fun read, she says, but it just didn't make sense to her. It wasn't as much fun as she thought it would be. For me, it was Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Neg. I did not get that book. I didn't understand it. I could not relate to the characters. I didn't understand the story or the plot. So those were our two disappointing books. The next tag is the McSteamy Love Confession, and it is OTP, One True Pairing. And I'm pretty sure that everyone can guess what this is. This was also not, we didn't see each other's answers, but come on, there's no other book that has got the OTP like A Court of Mist and Fury. It cannot be any other book. That just wouldn't make any sense. The next tag is the Youre My Person tag, and this is a book that you will defend until the very end, and that you will never get rid of, and that you can own multiple copies of, because this book is your life. So Sandra says she didn't even have to think about this one. It is Harry Potter. And I know she adores Harry Potter. Harry Potter is her life. It's all Harry Potter for her. For me, it is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I read this book twice now. I read it a year ago, and then I recently did a reread of it. Oh my gosh, this book is my life. This book gives me life. I love the cover. I will never ever get rid of this book. And if you ask me for a recommendation, read this book. You have to read it. The next tag is 30-Second Dance Party. So if you watch Grey's Anatomy, if there is a something depressing going on, or there's a down moment, or someone is going through a really rough time, then before you can even think of what your next step is or what you're going to do to solve the problem, we do 30-second dance party, we get everything out of our systems, and then our brains are clear and we can focus. So this is a book that just instantly made you feel happy, made you feel better. And Sandra said for her it was Pumpkinheads and Heartstopper. She said that they are both just incredibly sweet. They're short stories, so it uplifts her when she reads it, because you don't really have to think about it. It's not an intense story. And yes, that's her two books that she chose. For me, it is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. Also, if you know me, you know that I cannot stop talking about this book. I am going to be doing a reread of the whole series very soon. I love the characters. I loved Vasya's character. I love the Russian folklore and the Russian setting. Absolutely adore this book. It's one of my favorite fantasy books. The next tag is called Seriously. It's a book that the ending just instantly made you angry, that you just wanted to fling the book across the room, and you cannot believe that that is how the book ended. Sandra said for her it was Allegiant, which is the last book in the Divergent series, and she actually said to me, am I allowed to swear on YouTube? I don't think she said, did you read this book series? And I said to her, no, I didn't. She's like, I went through this whole series, I invested in this book, and that's how the book ended? Seriously? Are you kidding me? She says she's very disappointed with the ending. It just made her angry. She was so invested in it, and how can the book end like that? My choice for this tag is House of Salt and Sorrow by Erin Craig, and I had the same reaction. The book ended and I was like, seriously? This is how this book... Who's the villain? Why did it end? I don't have words. There's so many plot holes in the stories. The characters are not relatable, and you don't even know who the villain is, because apparently there's like several of them, but none of them are villain worthy. So yes, this book just, I don't even know what to say about this book. I don't understand this book, and this is again one of those where so hyped, and I was so excited to read it, and it starts amazing. I absolutely loved the setting of the book and how it starts, and it just went downhill from there. So this is not a book that I would recommend to anyone. And Sandra also said, don't even start the Divergent series, because Allegiant was just such a big letdown. Then the last tag is called The Nazi. So this is a book that completely intimidated you, and you just kept putting off picking it up to read, and now it's one of your favorite reads ever. And again, we didn't see each other's answers, but we both chose The Illuminae Files by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. We love this book, and we are actually starting the buddy read of Gemina this week, and I'm so excited. I put off reading this book for so long. There was such a hype around this book. There's still such a hype around this book, and I didn't know the formatting of this book. I never really researched it or looked at the book, and I just decided I need to pick up this book because there's so much hype. And I was very nervous because normally I've got a very bad experience with hype books. I am normally let down by it, or it's just not my cup of tea, and I could not finish this book faster. I really loved it, and I'm so excited for Gemina. And I keep repeating myself, but yes, this is our last tag. So Sandra and I will probably be doing an Instagram post as well with the full Twisted Sisters book tag list. I will also be including it in the description of this video. I'm also going to be including both our choices in the description and on the Instagram post so that you can see. Sandra and I would love to know what your choices are for this book tag. It is such a fun book tag. We had so much fun coming up with it. Yes, and if you are a Grey's Anatomy fan, we also want to know about that. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. If you want to see more of my upcoming videos, click on the subscribe button. Book lovers, I hope you stay safe. I hope you stay healthy. And when in doubt, read a book. It takes all the worrisome thoughts away. Bye.